Oh, God. So what happens to Spidey? Like,
before you carry on, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to those two geeks. We just broke the news to Joe. There's a spoiler on Newsarama, so it's not a spoiler for everyone. But Peter Parker gets turned into the Green Goblin, and what you're hearing now is Joe's in the moment reaction, and he is not thrilled about it.
We are media res,
I literally said, what are they going to do? Name it the Amazing fucking Goblin? And that's exactly what it is. Peter Parker becomes the Amazing Goblin.
I'm not gonna lie, this is actually making me more intrigued to catch up and read this series, because I'm like 20 or 30 issues behind. I'm like, oh, I might try and catch up now and read it as it happens, because the costume, the black and purple, looks so good. Like, this
man shouldn't be allowed to write a birthday card anymore.
I'm really happy for that. So I'm genuinely curious how it's gonna play out.
So are we gonna have Chasm become Spidey?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't be upset if you see Kane come back, but then I'm also a Kane mark, so there's that.
Yeah, but where is Kane? Is he even around?
I don't remember.
I think Kane's gone. I think they killed him with Dan Slott's run, didn't they?
He became the Other, so I don't really know what's going on.
Oh, God, don't remind me of that story. That was horrific. Moreland eats his eyeball, goes into a cocoon, comes out. No one thinks anything different of it.
Before you carry on, did we disclaim that Matthew's with us again today?
No, not yet. I'm just enjoying the show.
I don't think we did. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think we did. We've been chatting for the last quarter of an hour, and then we hit record, and that was the moment. So, Matthew, welcome back.
Well, I'm always excited to be here for another jam session. I know that I'm here in part to discuss how our predictions did for WrestleMania 40, but I had to reveal the spoiler that leaked yesterday to Joe, and I'm not regretting it for a second.
No,
thank you for these great tidings you bring.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it is glorious. I'm so loving his reaction to this.
Like, you know,
and Alex, I love that you now feel like you need to catch up and read it, and that's exactly what this is the point to do. Yes,
that is exactly the point. So
I work in comics like you do, Alex, and I can tell you, spoilers raise sales.
Mm-hmm.
They just do. I don't like that they do. I just know that they do.
Yeah, I don't like spoilers at all. Like Joe knows, I won't watch a movie trailer if it once a movie. I won't watch a movie trailer. I won't like it. It's a nightmare for the podcast. So we won't talk about it. Or he's like, "Did you see this?" I'm like, "No." Like I know I'm gonna go watch it, but after the Batman v Superman trailer revealed the entire movie, I'm like, I don't.
The whole movie.
Yeah, like that was the last movie trailer I watched.
That should have been enough to keep me from going to see that movie opening weekend, and I stupidly went anyway.
Yeah.
Gosh, I hate that I was a part of that whole legacy of that movie making so much money.
Ben Affleck should have been enough to keep you to watch that movie because he was a gem.
He was a gem. He just wasn't in enough of it. But yes, no. So Peter Parker will be turned into the Green Goblin. This is the big spoiler that has dropped on Newsarama as of yesterday from when we're recording this. It is a very cool costume. I like the costume a lot. And I'm looking very, very forward to comic shops now losing their minds and buying a lot of copies and fans losing their minds. And I think this is one of those things that people are going to read just to read it. They want to see if it's any good. They want to see how it's done. It's never been done in history of Spider-Man in 60 plus years that Peter was Green Goblin.
We've had Dr. Octopus become Spider-Man.
But we've never had
Spider-Man become Green Goblin. This is the first.
Yeah, it's never been done this way.
Never been done before.
This is like I said a few minutes ago, this is more than enough to get me to catch up on this. Like Sabretooth War is enough to get me to catch up with Wolverine.
Oh my God,
so good.
This is going to be enough to get me. I'm still an issue behind at this point, but this is enough to make me catch up. No, I won't be for long because I've got it downstairs in my kit bag from when I worked at the shop.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like catching up on Spider-Man, it's one of those things that I'm really looking forward to. Especially now. Like, I don't even care if the comics aren't that great leading up to it. But I don't like skipping a bunch of issues and then
you got to find out. Now you got to find out what's been leading
not
to
great is what you're looking for. You came to the right place.
Hey, I'm a fan of the New Adventures of He-Man. I'm well aware that there are things that are not great.
Dude, the book is brutal. He has flashes of good moments, but right now,
are you talking about He-Man, or are you talking about or are you talking about Spider-Man?
No, Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, Zeb Wells. But my
Now, as you know, I work for Penguin Random House, which means I do work with Marvel, so I have to keep my opinions.
That's fine.
I have to be very Switzerland. I have to be very neutral.
That's fine.
So like that said, I'll cut this bit out once I make a note of the time.
You're fine.
If you want us to, if we say anything that you need to have cut out,
all right, I'll be good.
Let us know.
No. You guys can have all the opinions you want. I have to be.
I know you
have a little bit of my rep, my PRH hat on right now.
No, I know you have to be Switzerland, but the last thing
you do not. You can do whatever you want.
We don't, and we know that. But the last thing we ever want to do on this show is put guests in a position or infrequent co-hosts in a position where you either can't come back on, or it puts you in a bit of an awkward position when you're at work in your day job or in
I would let you know. I would let you know. So far, I'm in not an awkward position. I'm in a very lounging position right now.
Okay.
I'm just enjoying watching Joe go nuts.
Okay.
Just watch me unravel. Alex, I hate
like the spaghetti universe.
Alex, I hate this idea. That being said, put aside 2 for me.
Ding, 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 ding.
Be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe has just proven the theory of why spoilers work for comic book sales.
Right? Like he may not like it, and he may not be a fan of Zeb Wells.
But he'll take 2.
But he's buying 2.
I love it. Joe, don't ever change. The best.
That is fantastic. Do you know how many I've got so many random issues put aside for Joe here and there over the years. He's like, oh, I need this. Do you want the series? No, I just need that one, or I need that cover. I need this. I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, I have it. I just forget to send it half the time. So
he's like Norm from Cheers with his tab with you. Mm-hmm. It's so funny. No, I think from a comic book industry perspective.
I don't like it. I don't like it either. But calm down.
From a comic book industry perspective, the key with spoilers in many ways is it has to come out before the final order cutoff of the issue, because that is the key time for pre-sales in comic book shops. So, dear listeners, for those of you who may not know the ins and outs of the comic book industry, what ends up happening is there's a date called final order cutoff for every single comic of every series that you get at your store. The final order cutoff is the final date that stores can place an order for their final number, up or down. And that is the number of comics they are guaranteed by publishers to have enough printed to meet that order. Anything ordered beyond the final order cutoff date is no longer guaranteed to fill, because it is dependent on the overage copies that comic publishers print. So therefore, if you get super excited about a book and you have in, let's say, Alex's shop, they end up coming in with 50 or 75 additional pre-order customers after the FOC date, it is very possible Alex's shop will be SOL trying to get enough copies to fill that demand. So they can no longer depend on their FOC number, which makes things very dicey and very challenging for the shops. So for a spoiler to leak after the FOC date puts shops in a bit of a very risky situation. But if it breaks before the FOC date, Alex's shop can now order up in confidence before the FOC date so that they can meet demand. And that is why it's so important for publishers, if you're going to have a spoiler leak, to leak before the FOC date, to drive those pre-orders in time to guarantee all pre-orders will be met. And for the shop to know, holy moly, this is a big deal. I should increase my orders for anticipated demand that I don't have pre-orders for. That's the business of the comics business. I don't love that spoilers are what drives this, but I'm foolish to say it doesn't drive it. So there you go. There's your comic industry 101, dear listeners, for why this happens.
Sorry, Brady was putting his 2 cents in too.
Oh, no worries. I'm building on that from a working in a shop point of view. Like, so the shop I'm at, there's 3 in the umbrella. Each shop does their own ordering.
Yep.
When it comes to some comics, we order just enough to fill the standing orders.
Right.
And that's it. So there's a guy that collects every Zenescape book. So we order in one copy of every Zenescape, and I mean every Zenescape cover.
Oh yeah, every store's got their Zenescope customer.
Yeah,
every store.
I don't even know what a Zenescope customer is.
Oh, I mean, he's like, I absolutely love, like, I love talking to him. He's fantastic. Like he comes in, like,
he's a Dynamite customer, but nicer.
Yeah,
that's how I would put it.
Like, super nice guy.
No offense, Dynamite collectors.
Hey,
you know it though.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I don't work with them. I can say that. So.
I was waiting to see if I needed to cover. So, if we have books like that, like when we had Scarlet Spider, I was the only one buying it, and when we did have a couple for the shelf, there weren't that many more that were picking up. So there may have been 1 or 2 copies coming in, one for me, one for the shelf. If something massive happened after final order cutoff in Scarlet Spider, I would be guaranteed a copy, and the other copy would be gone before it even hits the shelf. So the other person who would have been picking it up that didn't have a standing order is now SOL for trying to get a hold of that copy. So the lesson there, if you're regularly reading a book and you've had more than 1 or 2 issues in, set up a standing order with your shop.
Yes.
Because they may know.
That's why pre-orders matter.
Exactly. Like, they may, hey, my boss said, hey, I know Alex likes anything Valiant that comes in, I'll put it in his slot.
That's right.
Anything Wolverine that comes in, I'll put it in his slot. On the off chance that I miss a book, or hey, you didn't put yourself down for Wolverine and Weapon X, or Weapon X and Wolverine, or whatever, I can't remember what it was. It was like years ago, about 10 years ago. You said you didn't put yourself down. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. He's like, great, because I put you down because I know how much you love Wolverine. So the other point is, if you get to know your shop owners and they know what you like, 9 times out of 10 they'll put stuff in your slot that they think you'll like. You don't have to buy it, but maybe you'll find your next favorite series.
I love how appropriate this is that we were supposed to talk WrestleMania.
So the thing about it too is, if fans want to think of a recent example where there was too much demand because a book spiked in interest, that
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Correct. So Ultimate Spider-Man #1, and Ultimate Black Panther, and Ultimate Spider-Man #2, and Ultimate X-Men #1. But Ultimate Spider-Man is what kicked it off. So Ultimate Spider-Man #1, there were not as many pre-orders as shops were anticipating.
Yeah.
And when the book came on sale, and it was not a spoiler because of anything in the story. Everything in the story was actually pretty much spoiled before the FOC date. But it was so good that people who did not pre-order came running in. And when I tell you, by day one, before day one, we were sold out as a distributor. It was gone. There were no copies left.
I went and hunted down. I have 1 through 3, but I have copy number 3 of #1. Because I could not.
The third cover, the cover.
Yeah, the third printing, and then I have
the third printing. Gotcha.
And then I have the third Bagley cover of #3 because I really enjoyed that cover.
We can't even keep the third printings in the shop.
Oh, congratulations! You're getting a 5th printing too. It's the
first time I got the 5th printing. My shop had the 5th printing.
Every time it comes in, it's one of those things where, like, hey, so and so really wanted this. We'll get you one from another shop, because I said that I wanted it, but I keep forgetting to actually go in and put it in. Or as it comes in, accidents happen. But because they know that I'm so far behind and I haven't read much with multiple printings, I've always said, like, if someone really wants it and you can sell it immediately, that's fine. Because sell it. Like, I'm not going to read it right away anyway. Especially at this point when it's in the 3rd, 4th printing. I just want to read the book I don't care about the collectability of it.
Absolutely.
It's so good. It is so good.
But because there were not enough pre-orders, stores did not think that they needed to order so far above their pre-order calculus, if you will. And some shops, I will say, it's 3-to-1. However many pre-orders, they buy 3 times that many for the shelf. Sometimes it's 9-to-1. Sometimes it's 2-to-1. Sometimes it's pre-orders plus 5 copies. All depends on the series. Different shops have a different way of formulating how they place their orders, but no one was ready for Ultimate Spider-Man, and neither was the publisher, because that's why they didn't have enough copies to fill excessive demand. But then again, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and now 5th printings are also selling like crazy. So they have a genuine hit. But that is why, dear listeners, pre-order at your local comic shop. It's why it's so important that you set up a pull box. It's why it's so important that you pre-order, and that is how series stay afloat past the first 3 to 6 issues. If you want them to live longer in your comic shop, that is why pre-orders matter.
Correct.
And this spoiler, to bring it all back to Spider-Goblin, as Newsarama called it, this is going to drive up pre-orders for issue 50, which is on FOC in, I think, about a week. That's public information. That's easy to get out there. You can find it on any website. So that's what's going to drive up issue 50. So pre-order 50 at your local comic shop, please, and thank you, because this is going to be a super hot run of Amazing Spider-Man. Everybody's going to want to read this now that the spoiler's out there. So do not get sold out. Pre-order at your local comic shop. This has been your PSA.
I mean, are they going to change it to Amazing Goblin? It still says Amazing Spider-Man 50.
I think that all depends on what's going to happen after 53, because after when
I know the answer to this, and I just can't tell you. I'm
sorry.
No,
okay.
That's why I'm not asking.
Spoiler for 53.
Sorry.
I don't know if there's a spoiler.
This was the spoiler. The spoiler is Peter Parker is Green Goblin.
Yeah.
No, I know, but what's for 53?
That's 53.
No, this says Amazing Spider-Man number 50. That's the
cover. No, it doesn't. It says Amazing Spider-Man number 53 will curse Peter Parker with the evil of the Green Goblin. That is the headline, sir.
That is so weird. Why does it say on Newsarama? It says, I'm reading it right now.
I'm reading it right now too.
The story starts.
Oh, Amazing Spider-Man 53. You're right. Okay, then what is this? This number 50 is the second printing?
No, number 50 is the beginning of the story arc.
Okay, yeah.
It's the introduction of the new Goblin, who it looks like is going to be Peter Parker.
Oh, okay. But we don't find out till 53.
Oh, I mean, potentially not. Yeah. It might be 52. It might be 51. You might get a hint in 50. We'll have to read it and find out, but that's why you should pick up 50.
And that, so pursuant to that, the reason that you won't know what happens with Spider-Goblin number 1 or whatever is that they won't reveal it until it could very well be.
Why does it say right on the cover, Peter Parker is the Spider-Goblin?
I meant the next. Is it going to be Amazing Spider-Man 54, or is it going to be retitled to Amazing Spider-Goblin? You're not going to find out.
I'm looking at Amazing Spider-Man number 50. Oh, it says it all starts in 50. Okay.
Correct.
It confused the shit out of me because it said 50 on it, and
I mean, you've only just woken up. Give yourself some.
It's true. Your brain is still. You're still like it. All the gears are starting to get oiled up and turn properly.
Yeah.
So don't be so hard on yourself, Jim.
So I think Superior Spider-Man is still my favorite Spider-Man run of all time, and it was so outside the box that I could never foresee it being that big, and never foresee me loving it that much that I didn't want Peter Parker coming back as Spider-Man. So maybe this is something like that too. I don't know, but I will say that, in issue number 9, when they fought in the Mindscape, I was really rooting for Dr. Octopus to shut Peter up. So just incredible stuff. And then I loved Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne as Batman and Robin. And when Bruce came back, I was like, So I'm not adverse to change. It's just got to be done right.
There's only one way to find out, Joe.
Yep.
And that's to
read. And the thing is this going to be permanent? My money is on probably not, given comics are cyclical, but I'm going to enjoy the hell out of the ride if it's any good as we go through it. I expect it'll be a year, 2-3 maybe. I don't know. Don't say anything, Matthew. I think you're going to get at least 30 issues out of it, maybe, given that that's what
I don't think so. I think you get maybe 5 or 6.
Here's what I will say for Marvel. I give Marvel all the kudos in the world because this could not have been an easy decision to say yes to on some level. This is a very big swing. Yeah. And I appreciate when publishers take a big swing, good or bad, because it's so easy to get sort of locked into the humdrum formula that we're so used to. And comics aren't always allowed, it feels like, the perception is they're not always allowed to take big swings to change things meaningfully in such a large way. And so like what Zdarsky's doing in Batman with Joker Year One, I don't know that I agree with it as a fan. I don't know that I love it as a fan, but I appreciate he's trying something big. Yeah. And same thing here. They are trying something big. It's a big swing. The beauty of it is it's comics. You can always put the toy back in the box. Right, unlike WrestleMania 40, you can always put the toy back in the box.
Yes, and what a great segue to our main topic.
It's like I had that planned.
Oh, it's almost like you had it planned for the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. Right. So I'll recap the predictions that we made, including the random ones. And now bear in mind, folks, these are only the matches we knew about at the time.
That's true.
I don't know why you say they're so bad. We're a lot more correct than you would think. So for the Usos match, Joe and I selected Jay. Matthew said Jimmy.
Did I really?
You said Jimmy, and you swung me to Jimmy too when I was watching.
Yeah, no, your argument for Jimmy was really, really compelling.
Really compelling, and they did none of it.
I need to stop being the contrarian for the sake of being the contrarian. That was so stupid.
I think that your argument for Jimmy, I think I even said, you've convinced me. I think Jimmy's going to win it, but I'm too stubborn to change.
Yep.
LA Knight and AJ Styles, all of us got it right. Randomly said AJ.
That was an easy one.
So the tag ladder match is an interesting one because the belts were done separately.
Because they split it. They split it.
But we didn't know that at the time. So I considered this a right answer if you got one of them right. Yeah. Joe said DIY. Matthew and I said Awesome Truth so that he can get R-Truth can get his WrestleMania moment. Yeah. And Random also said DIY.
Yeah. No one saw Grayson Waller
Alex, you and I
with it.
Sure. By the way, on that match, I just want to say I thought that was a brilliant way to separate the tag belts again.
So do I.
So that each brand got them. I did not see that coming, and I should have. But that was a fantastic storytelling device.
Yep. It makes the most sense for them to reset everything right now that the Bloodline or Roman. Anyway, we'll get to that. But
SmackDown. But
we all said that Bayley was going to win, and she did.
Yeah.
We all said Logan was going to win, apart from Random, who said KO.
That's right. Yeah.
For the tag match, we all said the Bloodline, except for Random.
Yeah, but I got Roman pinning The Rock wrong.
Yeah, The Rock pinned Cody, right?
Yes.
Rock pinned Cody, so I think I got the pinfall wrong because I thought I picked.
I think we all picked Roman Cody. In him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Becky.
So we got the match right. We just got the match. We still get the credit. We get the
credit because getting into the weeds is a bonus.
I forget.
So, we didn't get the extra half point.
I got Becky wrong.
I'm giving us a full point for that. Just because I've done it in right or wrong. Hello, Sam.
Sure.
I don't
very
know
binary.
That, but
right or wrong. There's no gray.
No, exactly. For Rhea and Becky, you two called Becky. I called Rhea, and so did Random.
Yep.
Alex, just killing it.
Yeah, for those counting,
he's
Random only has 2 right. Gunther versus Sami Zayn. We were all wrong. We all picked Gunther, apart from Random.
I was so wrong.
I was very wrong. I was thrilled to be wrong. The way they told that story was phenomenal. The wife and child.
It was the Rocky parallel that I thought they were going to use, but it
was great.
I don't know how I feel about it still.
I think 666 days is brilliant.
Well, yeah, because he was a man of faith.
Yeah,
that beat him.
And I also think that it's a great way to set it up so that if there's a draft coming up, Gunther can then go after one of the others because he's a sympathetic heel and he's not really a tweener. He's just Gunther.
April 26th and 29th are the drafts.
Sympathetic heel?
Yeah.
How is Gunther a sympathetic heel unless you're British?
Gunther is not a sympathetic heel. I think Alex is off on this one.
I say Gunther is a sympathetic heel, not necessarily in a way that I have sympathy for him, but in that I know exactly, like, he's it's a poor choice of words, but you know what you're getting with Gunther. Like, is he a heel? Yeah, but I still feel
he's a good character. He's a good character.
He's a great character, and I really enjoy his matches. And I feel that he doesn't win with interference or anything. He tends to win somewhat honorably as he does it, which is.
I think Gunther is going to get drafted to wherever Cody Rhodes is, and is going to end up challenging Cody for that title by the time they get to Berlin. Now, don't get me wrong. If he takes the title from Damian Priest, I'm not mad at that either. If it's Cody and Gunther are your two champions on opposite brands, I have no problem with that. No. Any story direction works on that one.
Agreed.
Alex clearly doesn't have a problem. He's a sympathetic heel.
Nope.
I like
sympathetic heel.
Gunther is one of those characters that I would happily watch a match with, and I really enjoy his promos.
That's a Jerry Lawler take right there.
Yeah.
He's a sympathetic heel.
Gunther is brilliant. So we all called Drew winning.
Matthew, we were right.
Yeah, Matthew correctly called Damian Priest cashing in immediately.
Yeah. That's right. I get an extra point for that one.
You get the bonus point for that one.
Did you guys watch the video I sent you of the woman losing her mind?
Incredible.
Oh my God. I think I peed myself the first time I watched it. She's like, all y'all had to do, listen.
It was so well done. It was so well done. Like, you got the great moment of, like, Seth saying, "You fucking deserve it, man," to Drew. Awesome. Drew gets handed the title with the fans there, and he's so emotional. To his wife. He hands it to his wife, who says, "I love you. I'm so proud of you." Hands it back. He gets the shot of, like, I want this. I get this shot. I want this for my wall. Like, holding the title in front of CM Punk, and you're like, "Oh, this is great." And then they pull the swerve. And Priest, who lost the tag title the day before, ends up cashing in and stealing it right away. And now, and it was great on Monday. Drew is that much more unhinged.
Really good on Monday.
He's just continuing to build that character, and he's even more unhinged now. It's phenomenal. It is phenomenal what Drew McIntyre's doing.
Damian Priest is upcoming too. I really like Damian Priest's ascendance.
I love the fact that they gave Drew McIntyre his moment, and yet still let him carry on the storyline that he's clearly enjoying the shit out of.
These people who say that Drew's not re-signing, they're idiots because they're not leaving CM Punk and Drew on the table.
Not at all. Not at all. Oh my God. I'm fully confident Drew is re-signing. I am confident Seth and Becky will re-sign.
Same.
Because everybody wants the Netflix deal. They all understand
the Netflix deal. Might take time off though. I think Becky might be gone for a while with the book tour.
I think they both might take some time off. Yeah, I think they both might take some time off.
And power to 5 weeks.
I think, right now, what's the point on rushing back before the draft? You know what I mean? Like, you've got the show in Paris, but maybe they don't need to be on there. Maybe they can just be on there for a promo.
Yeah, exactly.
That show's going to sell regardless.
I feel like Seth is also banged up and deserves the time to properly heal and not just heal to
rehab.
Not just heal to clear so you can come back, but actually fully, because there's a drastic difference between I have issues with my foot. I touched on that last week. I can still go out and run, but I can't run as far as I want to right now just because I don't have everything I need for it. But that's the difference. But once I get everything I need, I'll probably be back to 100% again. But I can still function with it at 50%. And that doesn't mean that Seth can't function at 50%, but give the man time to get back to 100. He's made the World Heavyweight Championship belt something that people give a shit about between him and I think Drew, especially in the last little bit.
Oh, they did a great job building that title.
They did a great job building it. So that's just like give him chance to fully rest up, reinvent himself a little bit if he wants to, and then he can come back and do whatever it is he needs to do at that point. Like, have time with your wife and daughter.
Keep in mind too, a couple things. Becky had 102 fever and strep throat wrestling that match, so she's probably also just sick.
Yeah.
And needing to recover for at least a week. Secondly, too, they have been on the road with their child for almost 3 years now straight. Maybe they want a few months to have a little bit of normalcy and let the kids stay at home for a bit and see what that's like and give them that stability of being in one place for a lengthy time as parents. Maybe they all three would love to have that. And who's to say they shouldn't? They completed their stories. There's plenty of story to tell. They got plenty of years that they want to do it. Plus, she just came off a huge book tour. I'm sure Becky is beyond spent and needs some time to recoup.
Yeah.
So by all means, and they've earned it. They've more than earned their time off. Good for them.
100% agree.
It'll be interesting because I think we get Rhea Liv now, and I love Liv.
Oh yeah, Liv is going to be great.
Dethroning Rhea? No, but I didn't see Liv beating Ronda either. So what do I know?
Yeah, I think Rhea's time might be coming to a close in terms of having the belt, but at the same time, it's always nice for the company to have a long reigning champion as the dominant force.
It's been over a year.
Yeah.
It's been over a year.
Yeah.
She's done great. I think Rhea, and I think the thing about it is like Judgment Day is going to fall eventually, and I think Rhea is the big baby face to come out of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The whole point of a faction is to eventually break them up and make the people in them bigger stars than they were going in. Yeah. Rhea is a massive star, but wait for that full babyface turn, that full babyface run. Same with Roman. Roman is on the cusp of having the biggest babyface run in the history of the business.
I think so. I think
he
so.
really is, because he's going to come back and Solo's taking over the bloodline, right? So now Roman is like, I got to eliminate. Yeah, it was great. Way to go, Tama Tonga. So excited for that. 41 years old. Get the money while you can, sir. So like, So, but I mean, you've already started to see the seeds planted for Roman's babyface turn now.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be massive. The bigger the heel turn, the bigger the babyface. That's usually, unless you're the Miz. But
yeah, exactly.
So where do we go next, Alex?
The last one we have was Cody Rhodes.
We all picked that.
Everyone but random. So
we all said it was Avengers Endgame WWE.
Yeah. I also called Damian Priest cashing in on Cody Rhodes because I wanted to see. I was wondering if the rug would be pulled out immediately. So I was happy to be wrong on that. But
no, they're really giving Cody his moments.
You're more cold blooded than I am, Alex. For making that prediction.
That's entirely what it was. It's like that's
rude. That's really rude.
It's because I really didn't want it to happen to Drew because I really wanted Drew to have his moment, but I think the right choice is made.
Oh, the right choice is made because Punk cost him the next night, and he's like, "That's two." That was
he got his moment though, Alex. The beauty of how they did it is he did get his moment, and then he also had it snatched away from him, which was tremendous.
Well, when he typed out "LOL bored at work," when he tweeted it out, and then the next tweet was "fuck."
So good. Brilliant. I mean, he's really figured out how to use social media to further his story. He really has.
Yeah, let's talk about Cody though. This thing is so monumental. Like
most emotional ending in WrestleMania history.
Easily. But I still don't know how to feel. Like I love Cody. I adore Cody. But Roman's my tribal chief, and I'm still like, I don't know how to feel. Like I don't understand. So the fact that he's off TV is just the best point of view you can possibly do. I would have kept him quiet. You
don't want Roman to be there to take the shine away from your new champ. You know what I mean? It's Hogan left after WrestleMania 4, Bret Hart left after WrestleMania 12.
Yeah.
It's well established. You got to give your new babyface a little bit of a breather to establish himself as the top dog, as the champ, as the face of the company without the previous face of the company.
But Cody,
to be
Cody's
there for
been
constant
the face
comparison.
Of the for about a year now. Cody's been the de facto face for
He's been the challenger for a year.
He's been the challenger, but like John Cena said, he's the champ without the title.
Mm-hmm.
He was the champ.
Well, you have to act like the champ without the title, right? Like that's how you get the job you want. Is audition for the job you want. He was the champ for a year because he wanted to be the champ, but there was still no question Roman was number one.
No,
he was
Roman's
still
the
needle mover.
Roman's definitely the needle mover. Yeah. And,
so now you get to see him on his own, though. Cody will be great.
Yeah. See, the thing is, though, I would have had Roman stay silent a lot longer. When he came out and he just said, yesterday I mourned, today is day one, I would have just kept him quiet for a very long time. And
see, I don't know that you can these days. I think social media changed that, because I agree with you on some level, but I think that with the way social media is, I think the problem was they aired the clip of him embracing Heyman afterwards.
I love that. I love
it's that. Great, but that's a babyface move. You see it right then and there. That's the seed being planted. That's a babyface move. And now even and that clip of Roman, yesterday we mourned, today is day one.
Yeah, that's a babyface move too.
It's a babyface move. They're really planting the seeds to bring him as a babyface.
I think
the insurgent.
I think it's the right call though, because like Matthew said, in the age of social media, nothing is
you can't believe he's
going to stay silent. But on top of that, I watched yesterday a video that WWE had put out, CM Punk walking back his match with Randy Orton, and they were talking.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, it's really good.
But in it, I don't know which one it was. Randy Orton says, "So how much of the curtain did we pull back with this?" Like when they went to sit down, and Punk's like, "This is for the digital people. Pull it all back." So they did, and I was like, if WWE are putting this out, there's clearly a tacit acknowledgement that yes, the shows that we want you to see are the shows that we want you to see. This is the storyline, like the kayfabe. But we also acknowledge that at this point there is a clear differential or difference between kayfabe and not, and we're happy to show you both, and then sometimes blend the two. And I think the Paul Levesque
Drew McIntyre.
Exactly.
That's your best example.
It's brilliant in that he's allowing wrestlers to stay in kayfabe if they want.
Yep.
To use it to further their story. It's what you see MJF doing. Like you stay in kayfabe as long as you possibly can, or as much as you possibly can, and it does nothing but build the story, build the character. But then you get moments with CM Punk where we all know that at what point is it kayfabe, at what point is it real? And
that's the magic of CM Punk.
Yep. And he
said it on Ariel Helwani. That's the magic of CM Punk.
Yeah, he blends it so well when he does it. I think Drew McIntyre is, for my money, a little bit more turned on to it, because he seems to be having more control over his own narrative and more structured in how he's doing it. But when you have wrestlers doing that and the company's allowing you to do that, it's absolutely fantastic.
And more wrestlers are going to do it now.
Yep.
More wrestlers are seeing how social media is truly advancing their character development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's evolved the business.
But now it's on them, right? Now they're like, look, you have these tools. If you don't use them, that's your fault.
Right.
No one's telling you not to now. So if you don't use social media, if you're not putting in that work, then you're going to get left behind.
Right.
And Becky used it 2018, 2019. She was brilliant using social media to further her character of the man. So this is the new way, and WWE's figured it out. The story doesn't end when the camera stops rolling on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or NXT. Right. The story will continue 24/7. They are truly in a position where they can live the gimmick in a way they haven't since the 80s.
They're just so smart.
They're getting there. They're really getting there.
Compared to any other company, they're so smart.
Oh, well, look, I mean, other companies are attempting to blur the lines, and even doing it with wrestlers who aren't even under contract to said companies.
Yeah.
So I think here's the beauty of it. I think WWE is showing how to do it in an effective way, and I would argue AEW is showing how to do it in an ineffective way.
Yeah, I just want to say, We're gonna touch upon it because
I'm giving you all the segue, Joe. I'm literally.
Yeah, you mentioned the three magic words. You mentioned the three magic words. Yep, and I'm taking it. I'm happily taking it. Two things really turned me. One, that was such a WCW era move to
just. Joe, explain to the listeners what you're so fired up about.
In 1999, Raw was taped every other week compared to Nitro, which was live, and I still don't understand to myself why they planned this title change on a taped Raw. That always befuddles me, but nevertheless, they did. Mankind, Mick Foley, beat The Rock in Worcester, Massachusetts, for his first ever WWF championship. And it still remains my favorite episode of Raw to this day. Still to this
January 4th, 1999. January 4th, 1999.
My all-time favorite episode.
Go back and watch this main event. It's an incredible moment.
It's just on Peacock. My all-time favorite Raw. This reminded me a little. The celebration at the end with DX and everybody come out kind of reminded me of what they did with Cody on WrestleMania, but a much bigger, grander scale. However, the point I'm trying to make is that WCW had the advantage of not being taped, being live television. So they thought it would be a smart move to have one of their main broadcast journalists, Tony Schiavone, who I really, really enjoy Tony Schiavone's work. I do. Tony Schiavone say, oh, and on the other channel, or on the other show, I forget the exact vernacular, but he said on the other channel, the other show, he said, Mankind, Mick Foley wins the WWF title against The Rock. Yeah, that will put asses in the seats. And what it did was, it made every single person who was watching Nitro that night, just about, I'm using hyperbole, but I'm going to say for this
little bit. But when the legend becomes fact, print the legend.
That's right. And I like that word. I like that line. See, you listened to the interview too. So anyways.
I've seen The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. It's a brilliant movie. Yeah. Everybody should see it once.
Yeah. So when he did that, everyone switched to Monday Night Raw. And it ended up giving WWE their first win in 83 weeks. And they never stopped from that point on. What they tried to do is, in a disingenuous way, tear down another competitor. And it backfired on them. And these are the moments that you don't want to do as a wrestling business, or really any business, but a wrestling business. And you could tell that this may have been close to AEW's moment like that. It might not be fully.
And what moment are you describing, Joe, that AEW
I'm sorry.
Did? I'm
very bad at
what happened on AEW this week.
Yeah, so listeners, they finally released the so-called backstage footage at Wembley Stadium last August of CM Punk and Jack Perry's altercation before both of them left the company. And, the Bucks thought, hearing Punk go on Ariel Helwani, that this would be a bright idea to garner support on their side and make them, I don't know, sympathetic heels. And, my
new favorite term. A sympathetic heel.
You're welcome.
Yeah. No, so make them get support on their side for what an evil, horrible man CM Punk did. It was. Now, the funny thing is, Punk went on Ariel Helwani not having a clue that they were going to make this announcement, because this came as after fact.
Well, this was most likely a reaction to CM Punk.
This was a reaction to it, totally. But here's the funny thing.
This was a very defensive move by AEW.
But here's the thing. What AEW actually did was prove Punk is a complete, truthful guy in this regard. Because it went down exactly to the T how he said it. Exactly. He said, yeah, I didn't punch him in the face. He never punched him in the face. He shoved him 2 times like a high school girl. And then he said, and I choked him a little. And when I say choke, he front face locked him for less than 10 seconds.
And to go super deep analysis into it, he pushes Jack Perry. We don't know what's said because there's no audio there.
Of course not.
There's no audio.
Now, before you get conspiracy theory and why
and there wouldn't be audio. There would not be audio.
In the UK, there is no audio for CCTV.
There's no audio. No.
Yeah, no, there wouldn't be even in in America. I don't think.
No,
I don't. Yeah, I don't even think in the U.S. there would, not from the camera angle it was, because it was very
But the
far
bottom
away.
line is you could see them talking.
You see them talking, and
he
Punk,
said something that pissed him off. Like
Punk
it worked
pushes,
its way up to it.
It did. It escalated, and you can actually see Punk at one point before they get physical.
Look over at Tony.
Punk looks at Tony as if to say, "Tony, are you going to do something about this?"
Right.
Which is what he claims in the interview. So
exactly
Punk pushes Perry, and Perry charges back at Punk. There's somebody in the way, but you can see Perry goes for Punk's legs, and that's when Punk puts the front face lock on him.
Yeah, and it's
so even that section was because Perry was attacking him, and Punk was like, and he said this in the interview, don't let a guy get too close. And that's when he puts the front face lock.
Yeah, exactly. And then he told Tony, he said, "You're a joke. This place is an effing joke. I quit." But yet,
and you see on the camera, he goes right up to Tony Khan and is yelling something at him, and is being held back. And it corroborates Punk's story very well. Even though there's no audio, it really.
And then here's the thing: Tony Khan fears for his life because the monitor got bumped and wiggled.
That was Tony. We were talking about this on our offline chats, and Alex was bringing up some excellent points about the company AEW and how they were handling some of the situation overall. And I pointed out the one big thing that hurts Tony's credibility as a manager, Tony Khan, the owner of the company, is that when all this went down and he publicly fired CM Punk in Chicago, he made a statement saying that monitors were knocked over, and I've never feared for my life before the way I have here. It's a little bit of paraphrasing. And when you watch the tape, no monitor was actually smashed and knocked over.
No, it wiggled. It
wiggled a little bit. It turned, and at no point do I think you could construe Punk threatening Tony's life or being in massive physical danger. I don't think that's there.
No, either. Not at all. So
either Tony looks like a guy who's never been in any physical altercation before and gets scared very, very, very easily.
Apparently.
Or he looks like a guy that was embellishing to gain sympathy from the audience.
Yeah,
I think it's column.
It could be a bit of both.
Honestly. I think it absolutely is, because let's also take a step back and think about Tony Khan as who he is, right? He's a son of a billionaire.
He's a rich kid,
right?
He's a young rich kid who's been sheltered his whole life.
So I'm not saying that the way he handled it was right or it was wrong,
wrong.
In that moment, he 100% could have genuinely been afraid for his life if he's never been in a situation like that before. And you have someone like CM Punk who is, stronger than him.
Then the man's in the wrong profession.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think anybody should feel physically threatened by their employee ever. I don't think that's right. Punk is still in the wrong.
100%
for shoving Terry. He should never have touched him ever. Especially if he claims, as he did on Ariel Helwani, that he had 2 contracts, right? He said he had 2 contracts, one as a wrestler, one not as a wrestler. So you should never put your hands on an employee if you have that second contract.
Just like the Bucks should have never broke into a locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. But one wrong does not give another wrong credence.
Yeah.
So Punk absolutely was in the wrong in putting his hands on Jack Perry. Should never have done that. That was his mistake. And there's no question that's on Punk.
No, it is. But
being said, Alex.
That being said, I don't think that him coming out and saying I think it's one of those things where, honestly, I'm already tired of the situation. I'm tired of the fact that the internet wrestling community has been so focused on this that we haven't, like the talk of Cody Rhodes and what's coming next for WWE seems to have been overshadowed by it. I think
Punk
that
does the best.
But that's exactly the point, right? Like the spotlight is shifted to this. So there's more eyes on AEW. And I think that as a reaction not many, but as a reaction to them releasing the footage because of the Punk interview. I don't know if they ever would have done it otherwise, but I mean, definitely. You know what? We're tired of this. Let's just get it out.
People are already talking about it. Angle.
They tried to turn it into an angle.
I probably would have done the same. If you're going to release it on Dynamite, you may as well try and turn it into a bit of an angle, because AEW fans typically tend to be more tuned in than WWE fans, and I'm not saying. So they're going to be well aware of what happened. If the footage comes out, they're going to be talking about it. They're going to be wondering, is it an angle? Is it not an angle? You may as well wrap it into it being an angle, right or wrong.
It does nothing for the Bucks versus
Here's the tale of these two companies this week that I think is so fascinating. Now, here's the thing. Because I want to use one metric, and let's be very clear, it's not the be-all, end-all metric that it used to be. But let's talk about the TV ratings for Raw and Dynamite this week as a perfect contrarian contrast for the results of the philosophies of long-term storytelling for both companies. Now, again, TV ratings are not as indicative as they used to be in terms of the health of a company, because linear TV ratings continue to go down except for live sports. That is the only section of the audience. And as we get closer to the election, cable news will also increase ratings.
Yeah.
But because it's reality based, right? So, but right now, AEW Dynamite went up about 50,000 viewers from 750-ish to I think it was like 757 to 819. And it was because of this segment. It was because they told people in advance they're going to do it. They get about 50,000 people bumped. And it was the first time since February that it reached, nearly 820,000 viewers. Compare that to a year ago when they were at 900,000 regularly. So their trajectory has gone down. Now that's based off of peeling back the curtain, quote unquote, appealing to their very core audience and trying to blend a bit of reality with fiction for an angle. WWE, Monday Night Raw, garnered its highest rating in nearly 5 years. In over 4 years. It was the highest 18 to 49 audience in 4.5 years, with over 2.3 million viewers. And they did it off of their long-term storytelling and the payoff to that story of Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania and an angle truly getting over. And it was up like 25% over the previous year and like 33% over the previous week. And that is the difference on how these two companies right now are executing their visions. That is one example for how to do it right and how to do it less effectually, in my opinion.
Ariel Helwani said it so well. Like, he said it how I feel. He wants both companies to succeed badly.
Absolutely.
And he said no one can convince him in 2019 through 2021 that AEW wasn't the better product. And I feel exactly the same way. Outside of Roman growing into the tribal chief at that point, there was nothing on WWE television that enticed me. Nothing at all. It was just so humdrum. It was very rinse, wash, repeat, just bland. And I thought AEW up to Punk versus MJF, the culmination of that whole storyline, was a fantastic product to watch. It was great. I can't pinpoint. I probably could if I went back and rewatched it, but there's no streaming service. Thank you, Tony. I could probably go back and find out when it really started falling apart, but I'm going to venture to guess it was somewhere after Brawl Out. It probably fell apart.
There's Honor Club. What are you talking about? There's a streaming service, Joe.
Oh, God.
Congratulations to Mark Briscoe also, by the way, on becoming the ROH World Heavyweight Champion. Cool. A year to the date, his brother died tragically in a car accident.
Yep.
No, not a year to the date, excuse me, but very close to a year. And also, it was like 14 years or something since to the day that his brother won the ROH World title originally. Yeah. So it was a great anniversary, a great moment for Mark Briscoe. Just a quick shout out, because there are some great things that do happen in pro wrestling.
And let's be honest, it was good to get another title off Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, I've never been a big Eddie Kingston fan.
I
I'm
like
not gonna lie.
him. He served his purpose. He got his moment. He got his his NJPW moment that he wanted really bad. But that's it. You know, Okada's definitely the right one to be having the belt right now. However, they've got to showcase Okada better. He sucks on AEW television.
If I'm anybody in AEW, I'm looking
I
at
hate it.
WWE like, whew, the grass is real green on that side of the.
Oh my god! And it's not just hey, not to quote Punk on the scrum when he said, "Hey, the grass isn't green on the other side; it's green where you water it." Well, guess what? That must be getting some pretty nice water because AEW is looking rough. It's looking rough all the way through the women's division, all the way through everything right now.
I'll tell you what, WWE, we think the grass is green now. The grass is going to be neon green in about 2 years.
Yeah.
A year into that Netflix deal.
Yeah.
When they're getting ready to, it is so like we think this is the high of highs. They've not even begun.
I didn't think they could continue after Mania. I was like, okay, this was the endgame moment. Is it going to fall apart like the MCU did? But then they brought out The Rock, and then they did that promo with Cody, and I'm like, wow, cinema continues. It still continues. Like, I'm so enthralled. The only thing, I didn't like the reveal of what the item was last night. I don't understand what that means. It was a wartime something, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what
we'll find out later. We'll find out later.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So, you don't have to know immediately.
That's the beauty of it.
I thought, if it was the lighter, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, you got real fucking dark, Joe. What is it, man?
Exactly.
You went real dark here. You're like, oh
Imagine
yeah, they're going to reveal that The Rock tried to burn his trailer down with him in it.
Well, think about it.
Before WrestleMania.
Think about it. If it fits with the character, he hands him a Zippo lighter, and he goes, "If you smell what the final boss is cooking."
I like sympathetic heel is still my favorite. My favorite.
Hey, it's no different than Marvel trying to switch Peter Parker to the Green Goblin. Okay, I'm just trying new things.
Fair. I feel that when it comes to
wow, that was uncomfortable silence, Alex.
Fair.
It's one of those things where you both went on mute at the same time and assume you were coughing. I'm like, oh, I didn't really have anything to say at that point.
I was coughing. I apologize.
No,
it's okay. I mean, I
hit my cough button.
I think The Rock is going to fully embrace. He has already fully embraced his heel persona. My guess was it was Dusty's Hall of Fame ring, or it was going to be the watch that Dusty pawned years ago to start Cody in acting.
But he already got that. He already got that.
No, he got a replica of the watch.
No, he got the watch.
No, he said this is like the watch.
No, they said they found the watch.
Did they find the watch? I thought it was
that was the watch.
Replica of.
No, okay, Nick Khan worked some Hollywood magic apparently, and they tracked it down.
Wow.
That is the watch that Dusty Rhodes pawned to pay for Cody to go to LA that he has talked about for years now.
Okay.
And that he always wanted. No, they found the legit watch. That is what he's wearing.
If that's not a ringing endorsement, I don't know what is.
If I'm in AEW, I'm like, look at how good they're treating their people. Look at how good they would treat me if I'm AEW and I go over. I'm not going to be blackballed and punished.
Yeah.
And made to circle the bottle of the drain for a while to earn it. They're treating people like stars that we are.
Yeah.
And I could get on Netflix.
To go back, I think it was very telling when Punk shared the part about he got to London and they didn't have anyone to pick him up. Like, that's just the bottom of the crap. Like, Bush League.
It's a crappy oversight, but I will say this. It's not – I don't think that that's worse than WWE firing Mickie James and sending her belongings back in a trash bag.
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, that's a Vince move.
I think that was worse. No, that wasn't Vince. That was Cameron, what's his name, who they fired immediately after finding out about it.
Wait, was it Mickie James or are you thinking Maria?
It was Mickie James. It was Mickie James. Well,
I thought it was Maria Kanellis too.
Well, what came out later is that that's actually something they did for a bunch of people.
Okay,
it was almost like
it
was almost supposed to be like a joke or something.
Yeah,
and it's not a joke you tell from as a corporate entity. That is bullshit.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Yeah, it's a terrible joke.
It's a horrible thing. So yeah, no, Mickey James went public about it, and then WWE higher ups became aware and were like, "Oh, you're fired." Period.
How great would it be?
You're done.
How great would it be if Vince goes to prison? He gets his belongings in a trash bag.
Well, I don't know. We'll see if it goes criminal.
Long-term storytelling, Matthew. Long-term storytelling.
On that note.
Yeah, on that note, I actually don't really have much more to say at this point. I think so.
I think we covered it. I think
we did.
We've covered everything. I think Backlash is looking to be okay. I think anything after Mania is going to be considered a downgrade for a little bit, just because how do you top that pinnacle? Like I said,
well, now we're at the beginning. We're at the beginning of a new story now.
I know. I know.
That's the key. You're at the beginning of a bunch of new stories. I really hope it's AJ Styles versus Cody at Backlash.
I think so. Why would you have him lose to LA Knight twice?
I think it'd be a phenomenal main event there. I'm excited for Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. Thank you.
I expect Damian to keep it though.
Well, I think these are both challengers where you expect the champs to come out, and these will be strong first title defenses.
I mean, Cody, let's face it, other than The Rock right now, I don't see anyone taking it from him.
Cody has to go 4 years. He has to beat Roman's reign. That's the new mountain. That's the new mountain he has to climb.
He won't even go one
That's
year.
The new mountain.
He's going to be lucky to make it through the end of the year without losing it at least once.
Well, here's the good news, dear listeners. You're going to make it with us more than a year. That's for sure, because we're going to be here checking in on this journey every step of the way. And I thank you both so much for letting me come on today and have a jam session with you.
You are welcome anytime.
Is that the end?
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.